Malcolm Crosby. Their opponents today, West Ham, who've more or less stumbled into this fifth round. Commentator at Roker Park is Tony Gubber.
Malcolm Crosby may still only be in a caretaker role at Sunderland, but he's a quickest ever winner of Manager of the Month, thanks to victories in the first 4 matches after he took over in January. And with Sunderland, now Britain's newest city, there's lots to smile about on the Roker Park terracing. Well, this isn't quite the team that Malcolm inherited from the departing manager. He's brought back Paul Hardiman, converting him from left-back into midfield, and young Brian Atkinson is also restored to the first team. He wears number 11. But it is one of Dennis Smith's last signings, whose goals have taken Sunderland into the fifth round for the first time in 16 years. Former ERA international John Byrne has scored 5 times in the last 7 matches, including 1 in each round of the Cup. Well, West Ham are sorely depleted by injuries. Frank McAvenny is the latest of them. Tony Parks continues in goal for Miklosko. Martin Allen returns wearing number 10. It's his first game since December. And number 6, Ray Atterveld, is in the side. He starts a month's loan from Everton. Referee Bob Nixon from the Wirral starts this fifth round cup tie, in which it will be difficult for either side to get a grip of the ball because there's an absolute gale blowing right down the length of Roker Park and right into the face of Tony Parks in this first half. It'll be interesting to see just how far he can get this ball. These two teams have both won the FA Cup previously as second division sides. West Ham's form in reaching this fifth round has been, well, a little bit less than impressive. Davenport. Byrne. Hardiman's made a run through. Kay sprints up from the right-back position and gets in a great ball. Well, it was delivered very early, and it was a good ball also from John Kay, a local-born player. He saw there was a little bit of space in that penalty area, just chipped over the top, and Hardiman was just a yard behind it. Slater got away from ball. He's on his own. Good stop, Norman. That's the first save with something like 32 minutes played. Slater now waits for the corner. Taken by Dix. Oh, it hit too long. Keane. Final effort from Kevin Keane was always going well wide, but it was a nice bit of skill and control by Stuart Slater. But as he took that ball into the penalty area, you can see there's no support arriving at all. 3 minutes to go to half-time. And wouldn't we dearly love a goal? Foster. Only to Rogan. It's just kicked from one defence to the next and back again. Now Davenport, and he's turned. And he's threaded it through for Hardiman. Dix, who got in the block, and it was a good block as well from Julian Dix. Hardiman was beautifully found then by Davenport. It was a good chance. And that's brought a corner. Well, Byrne's gone right over there. Surely he wants to be in the penalty area. Well, he's coming back now. That's the place to be when you're the top scorer in the last few matches. Oh, that's hanging awkwardly. Parks has got it safely. Oh, the referee had a very good view, and he's given a push on the keeper, but he caught it very well. Small got a little back header. That's Slater, who didn't find Brown. Armstrong. To Kay. This is adventurous by Sunderland, and they've lost possession there. It might have been embarrassing, but they didn't. Nicely laid in by Armstrong. Forward to Davenport, whose first touch was good. Hardiman! Oh, Parks again did well to come out and smother. Got a little knock for his trouble, but he's done well since he replaced the injured Miklosko, Tony Parks. In fact, I don't think in the current run that he's enjoying, he's conceded a goal. And he didn't give any shadow of a doubt about a foul. He just got down and made the ball his. And There goes the whistle to end what has frankly been a disappointing first half. Neither side able to cope with these very tricky conditions, and we haven't had a goal to enjoy. But there's always lots of enthusiasm at Roker Park, and we can look forward to a better second half. It's Sunderland 0, West Ham 0. A warm drink is what's required, and that one being enjoyed by James Herriot. In truth, Alf Wright, a 75-year-old veterinary surgeon who wrote the James Herriot books and who's the honorary life president here at Sunderland. So Sunderland start this second half, now attacking the goal to the left. Neither side has made a substitution at half-time. And it will be interesting to see how each team now copes with the quite different conditions that they'll have to deal with from those that they experienced in the first half. Davenport, marked by Foster. And he got in a good left-foot cross. But it was always a little bit too close to Tony Parks. But if anybody can prise things open, you get the feeling Davenport might. Now Parks enjoying the opportunity to get in long kicks of his own. Rogan needed to... there just wasn't the right sort of understanding again between the defenders and the keeper. I mean, if Rogan expected the keeper to come and claim that, he was certainly thinking in a different direction to Tony Norman. Keeper was never really going to get there. The big number 5 for West Ham, just around the penalty spot. Keane, it's in. Allen, Martin Allen, I think. He's claiming it, Martin Allen, but the players have run off to congratulate Mike Small. But there might be a bit of a debate there about who had the final touch. There's no doubt that it was knocked in by Kevin Keane, and there were 2 on the goal line poaching. Oh, maybe the camera will tell us who got the last touch. Yes, you'd have to give it to Small, although as he ran away, Martin Allen was trying to claim that it was his in the penalty area, and the rest of the West Ham players ignored him. So Mike Small's 16th of the season, and that goal has come right at the ideal point, really. What a season he's having, Julian Dix. And still only 23. How nice it is to see that he's recovered after that long layoff through injury and can still look forward to a good career. Oh, he did well to let it run there, Slater. Keane, breakers well forward. Rogan's tattle only to Slater, who was then unceremoniously upended by Kevin Ball. In fact, Mr. Nixon, I think, has seen enough of those man-sized tackles from Kevin Ball, who's cautioned, and that could well mean another suspension looming for Kevin Ball. He's already been suspended twice this season, and that will take his points tally over 21. Don't think he can complain too much about it. He was at least a yard behind the ball. And West Ham's free kick, which it looks as though Julian Dix will take, trying to chip it over the wall. Breaker got away from him. Dix dispossessed by young Atkinson. Over the top for Armstrong. For Byrne, he's gone out wide. And the block was by Foster. And it's Keane who brings it away. And this game now beginning to open up. Oh, look at the space here for Martin Allen. And that's not a bad ball over the top for Slater to chase. He's got Small in the middle. And Bennett got a foot on it. Dix. Allen. Atterveld. Dix again. Fine ball to pick out Ken Brown. Oh, it needed watching all the way, didn't it? It swerved and it bent. He never really got a good side of goal, but he forced Tony Norman to stay very aware. To Slater. And he spotted Keane in space, and Dix has gone on the outside. This is Dix. Oh, it's a good run forward by Julian Dix. And he's appealing for a corner. But in a season when so many of your players are injured, and you really are down to the last 11 fit men almost, it must be a real thrill for Billy Bonds and the West Ham supporters to see how well Julian Dix is playing. Keane to run at them, goes through them. Rogan for Davenport. We'll get to this. Potts has closed him down. There's nobody to look for in the box. Burns arrived! Oh, it's still in play, and it's in! It's a goal! John Byrne! And having said how well Julian Dix was playing, I think he may be guilty of a very unfortunate rebound just before that went in. That was a terrific break by Sunderland. Now, Byrne gets in here. The header hits Julian Dix, who then loses it. Byrne kept his cool. Tony Parks committed himself, and he just pushed it over the line. Atkinson did very well. Rogan came inside small. Slater. That was a trip. Free kick. Hit by Atterveld. It was a splendid one-handed save from Tony Norman, but I'm not absolutely certain it would have gone in. From this angle anyway, it looks as if it might have been going just wide of the post, but he had to be certain. That went straight behind. What a fabulous strike that was by Ray Atterveld from the free kick. Well, it looked as though it would have gone in, didn't it? Kotsu finally clears to Slater. Allen. Slater with a little bit of space to pick up speed and run at Rogan. He's got past him. Bennett's come out of the centre of defence. That was good covering. He might have pulled something there. Gary Bennett, as he stretched to get a foot on that, he's gone straight down. Bennett back on his feet, but he's certainly stretching very gingerly. And Rogan's central partner now is Kevin Ball. And Bennett's just wandering about. Throw to Sunderland, and there will now be a change. Colin Pascoe, who comes on. He's naturally a midfield player. And Bennett has gone off. Flick on by Armstrong. Byrne. Oh, it's a great effort from Byrne. Well, that was a player full of confidence and with his shooting boots on. And even Colin Foster, I think, was in admiration of that. Dix. Oh, he does get forward well, doesn't he? Laid out to Slater, but it's covered by Kay. It goes behind for a goal kick. Well, what a fine bit of skill that was to enjoy from John Byrne. He'd had one touch already, and then hit it left foot on the drop, and it forced quite a good save from Tony Parks. Davenport, flick on, Byrne, here he is, he's in the right position. Great stop, Parks. They're appealing. Oh, what a great stop by Parks, and that's kept West Ham in the cup. You'd have put your money on Byrne. Little back flick here from Peter Davenport. It's absolutely perfect. Look at the side he's got of the target. It goes a little bit wide, maybe. Parks went the right way, and that's a fine stop. and it's still 1-1. And the whistle goes, yes. Well, the second half was exactly what the first half wasn't. Mike Small giving West Ham the lead after 49 minutes. And then John Byrne equalising after 65. And Byrne so close to getting Sunderland the winner, but for a fine stop from this man, Tony Parks. It's 16 years since Sunderland got as far as the sixth round of the FA Cup. They haven't done it yet, although technically I suppose they have, because their name will be in the hat when the draw for the sixth round is made tomorrow. So too will West Ham, and they'll need a replay to sort it out. Malcolm Crosby, 1-1, a result that satisfies both managers, I suppose, but Sunderland might feel they had the more chances to have won it.
Well, we had a good chance near the end with John Byrne, but fair play, the goalkeeper, he made a very good save. And I think a fair result was a draw.
Not a good afternoon for football, though. The wind was terrible, and both sets of players had real difficulty bringing the ball down and getting it under control, didn't they?
Yes, the conditions were bad, and you know, fair play to both teams. They did try and get the ball down and play, but it was never going to be easy.
Billy?
Yeah, we didn't come up here for a classic. We knew it wouldn't be, you know. I mean, you come up here and it's normally very windy and a bit blowy like this, and it was difficult today. But I thought overall it was a typical cup tie. It was a bit arum-scarum at times. Very few chances, probably a couple of chances each, and I think it was about a fair result at the end of the day.
West Ham are hanging on in there in this season's FA Cup, aren't they?
Yeah, we're battling. We like you say, we didn't play particularly well today. We haven't been playing that great this season, but. Give my lads a lot of credit. They've been battling. They've had to go at some difficult places. Wrexham was never going to be easy, but they keep battling. They keep working at it, and you'll always have a chance when they're doing it.
Bad weather for the hairstyles. What do you think? Replays all the way to Wembley then for West Ham?
Well, I don't think they'll complain if that's the case. But I mean, both lads were right there. I mean, the wind was awful. I used to hate playing in those sort of conditions, and it makes it a bit of a lottery. And I think in the end, it's fair enough that it goes to a replay, because it'd been a shame for a side in the fifth round to go out in a sort of conditions such as that.
John Byrne looked sharp.
Well, I mean, John Byrne's got a lot of individual skill, hasn't he? And I thought Peter Davenport alongside him played quite well. You know, they linked up, and some of the better touches came from those. But, I mean, he's got very good individual skill, can beat players. I mean, the best bit of action probably the touch over the top very late on and the left-footed shot, wasn't it? But he'd be a bit disappointed with the late chance, but I think Tony Parks did very well. A bit like, as we said earlier, with the Chelsea goal, sometimes the keepers, they can block it half with their legs and the body. Sometimes it goes between the legs. On that occasion, he stood up well and blocked it.
It was fairly bizarre, wasn't it, really?
Well, that's right. I think, you know, in the end, there were a few chances throughout the game, and probably, you know, the fact that John Byrne's equaliser in the end had that little element of luck, didn't it? You know, the fact that the wind took it away. As you see, Peter Davenport gets in a great cross from the left, and it clears the West Ham defence, and at this stage it looks a comfortable far post header into the net, but it drifts away from him, and he would have headed it back across the goal. Comes off Julian Dick's hands. He doesn't know where it is. Johnny Byrne thinks, come on, get down, and Tony Parks then just misses, and it bobbles softly into the net. I mean, sometimes, you know, you hit some screaming shots, and on another day the bobblers go in, and it's a vital replay, and who knows what's going to happen at Upton Park.
This Brighton supporter has noted where both the goal scorers in that match used to play last season.
It must be hurting seeing them at the bottom of the second.
Bottom of the second, yeah.
Boys